Should I stay and try to fix my marriage, or is it simply beyond saving?
Whew, that's a big one.
It's
So
a
if
big
you've
one.
listened to me for more than like 3 minutes, you know I'm not going to give you that full answer, but I'll sit with you. What you got going on?
Okay, we've been together for about 20 years, 2 young kids, and he's also had a binge cocaine addiction the entire time. It's gone spans of a year not using, but it's been consistent. And we've tried rehab. He's tried rehab. We've tried counseling. We've tried everything. And it's just continued to escalate. And finally, about 6 months ago, when he brought it into the house, I kicked him out and separated and told him to leave. And so it's been 6 months. We've done therapy. We've done family therapy. I do therapy. We've done all the therapies, and we're just stuck. And the only difference is he doesn't live here. And he sometimes sees the kids when he's not using. He only uses on the weekends, it appears. And he's high functioning otherwise, but not functioning for our family. And I'm stuck.
Yeah. To get this out of the way, otherwise it'll just spin in my head and loop and loop and loop. I absolutely hate the phrase high functioning.
Yeah.
Because all that means is somebody has X, Y, or Z challenge or struggle with addiction or mental health disorder, whatever it is, and they go to work and get a paycheck. Mm-hmm. High functioning rarely is in reference to the wake that somebody like your husband leaves relationally, emotionally, financially on the people that love him. And for those, I've spent a lot of time with people who struggle with cocaine. Just for people who are listening who don't have that kind of reference, 20 years means you've dealt with a lot of gnarly actions inside your home. Give me an example of a few of them.
Well, I had a hard time going away, but when I did go away about 1.5 years ago on a trip, that was pretty important across the world. He was with the kids and used, and my daughter called, FaceTimed. She's young, but she FaceTimed, and I had to get somebody to the house to take the kids away. And that was kind of the thing that I said I would never be okay with. And it happened. And then it took me 1 year before he, just continued to do it. And he brought it into the house when we were all sleeping, and I caught him. And
Audrey, he's been bringing it into the house forever. You know that.
There's more. There's more.
How many times has he cheated on you?
5 years ago. Exactly. 5 years ago, I found out there was escorts too. And so it's bad.
What about your finances?
We're both in finance, so finances are not bad. They're good.
Okay.
Ish.
So yeah.
For now.
I'm thinking of what they could have been 20 years ago, versus how much have just literally been snorted away. So can I ask you a personal question? I want to kick you while you're down, but can I ask you a hard question?
Yep.
Why'd you make humans with this guy?
I don't know. I thought, I guess naively, I thought, I guess this happens and he's not doing it. He didn't do it. It would be like 2 year span and it wouldn't happen. And then it would happen and he would just disappear for 24 hours.
Or 72
and then
hours.
We had humans. Yeah. Usually about 24 for sure. It usually didn't go beyond 24. And
that means you were really present in the ramp up. So for most normal mortals, it would have been 48 to 72 hours, but you, I guess, could handle the front end of that before he had to disappear.
I guess, yeah. Wow. And he's mad at me, and so there's a lot of anger.
Of course he is.
And there's a lot of everything's intermingled.
It's not though. Together. It's so clear.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah.
What is it about your current reality that you're having trouble being honest about? Because listen, for the last 20 years, you have lived inside of a spider web of dishonesty. and you've allowed it too. It's both and.
Yep.
And so what is it about this current reality? Like if your friend set you down, forget the cocaine, forget the drug abuse. Hey, my husband's getting a bunch of escorts. He's making the kids incredibly unsafe. He's making you unsafe with his sexual practices. He disappears for days on end. What would you tell your friend?
Get out.
Get out. What is it about this situation that you can't put both feet on the ground? I feel like you're out in the bay, in the water, and it's 3 feet, but you won't just stand up.
I don't know.
It's 3 feet deep.
Yeah.
What are you scared of?
I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm scared of him dying.
Tell me about that.
What if I can't do it?
Tell me about that.
Well,
not about the can't do it. You're a financial executive. You make enough money. You've got a rare thing that women in your situation have, and that's financial security. You're okay.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the thing before that.
Yeah. My dad died when I was 8.
There it is.
He killed himself.
And you've been watching a man slowly kill himself for 2 decades.
Yep. Yep.
Tell me about your old man.
I don't remember. I was 8.
You remember the bomb blast though?
Yeah. Like he was abusive to my mom. She separated from him. They were separated at the time, and he was coming to get us to take us out for breakfast. And she found him in the garage. So I'm sure I'm paranoid or petrified of him dying.
Yeah.
But I know all the things. I am intelligent. I can do this.
It has nothing to do with intelligence, Audrey.
Yep. I'm just stuck.
I know.
I have lawyers. I'm ready to go with things, but I'm just stuck.
Yeah. Your dad dying wasn't your fault. You know that, right?
Yeah. Yep. I guess it feels with him, it is my fault because I didn't save him. I didn't.
You don't have that kind of power, sweetheart. You don't have that kind of power.
No.
You didn't have that kind of power when you're 8 years old. And there's not a more powerless feeling than when one of our parents dies when we're a kid.
Yep.
And there's especially not a more powerless feeling when mom says dumb things on the back end of that.
Yeah. I mean, he's out, and me and the kids are safe, and we're at peace, and, but I can't ever get rid of him because he's their father, and
he is. You can't get rid of him. He is opting out of their life.
He is.
He has opted out multiple times, and I want you to consider the fact that he is screaming in his silent voice, "Please get these kids away from me. I'm not safe."
Yeah. Yeah.
And you say you work at the same place?
Yeah, not for the same company, but not in the same place every day.
Will this cost you professionally to divorce him?
I hope not, but that fear is there. The stigma, as big as it is, it's still small. So yeah, I'm concerned about that. But
will he be a person of character on the back end, or will he run you down?
He has been a person of character so far, but he is running me down silently, and nobody knows that he has this problem either.
Well, and that's that. So let me change the language a little bit. So I guess for all intents and purposes, you've made your decision.
Yeah.
And if you're calling me as just a kind of a C-level podcaster to be like, do I stamp this? Yes, I stamp your decision. Okay.
Validation.
Consider it stamped. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've talked to somebody who's tried this hard for this long.
Yeah.
To get somebody to see in the mirror what you see, which is a man that you love.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
And he's gone from he can't to now I think it's he won't.
Yeah.
And so he won't. And exhale, put a stamp on it. When you make that decision that I'm ending this for the safety of me, my family, my children, you are now entering into a business transaction. And if you are doing business, if you were sitting around a table with a room full of lawyers about to sign an agreement or terminate a contract with business professionals, there'd be some sort of NDA-ish kind of language that says you can't go out in the public and run me down or I'm going to make this whole thing public.
Right.
And so now that you're entering into this world, that's got to be part of the language. You can't, quote unquote, protect yourself partly, right? Boxers don't go in with one arm up. They got to have both up. They're going to get knocked out.
Yeah.
And you know as well as I do that in the workplace, his word's going to be valued, especially initially, over yours.
Yeah. He holds a higher position too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to be people of integrity, and we're also going to put down in writing, this is how this is going to go. But you need to hear me say, he left you a long time ago. He just didn't do the paperwork.
Yeah. He just keeps coming back.
Well, you keep allowing him back. I would come back if I was him too. To a warm, safe place with somebody who loves me unconditionally, who's let me just run amok, and two little miniature versions of myself that are the fantasy of the innocence and purity that I could have been, that I still can be, but I just won't.
Yeah.
Of course he comes home.
Yeah. Yeah.
How old are your kids?
8 and 10.
Okay. I would use language like daddy's really sick.
I did. Okay. I did. After listening to a few of you. Yeah. I have. That's the language I'm using with them.
Okay.
My 10-year-old knows that it's drugs. They call it acting weird. When mom's away, dad acts weird, but it's just for a day.
Gosh.
Yeah. They're in therapy too.
Well, I mean, that's all well
therapy
and good.
All around.
Yeah, I mean, it's all well and good. You're pretty therapized up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The thing you've got to start doing is taking action.
Yeah.
You've thought about it enough. You've talked yourself into circles. You've had enough cups of coffee with well-meaning. Like it's time to either say this is who your dad is, and we're going to ride or die, or your dad has opted out, and I'm going to have to do the dirty work here and actually take care of the paperwork because he won't.
Right.
He doesn't love us enough to fully leave. He loves us enough to bounce back and hurt everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to let him do that to my kids.
Yeah.
And then he gets to choose, quite honestly. He gets to choose. And all this stuff comes out in court, by the way. He's got a lot to lose.
Yeah.
About his drug use and his safety, and he's going to have to take drug tests to be around the kids and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he does now.
And then you've got a whole other crazy world of, I mean, just the unequalness with which these things get separated. But probably a lot of your success is due to the shared childcare expenses and all that kind of stuff. And so figuring that out, just sitting down and making sure we're all honest about what this is going to take.
Yeah. But you're right. I gave it a try. A really long one.
What are you talking about? You gave it a try. I gave downhill snow skiing a try. I hated it. I went to ski school and I just went out of control down a bunny slope and I knocked over a ski instructor and he's like, "What's the deal, bro?" And I was like, "Really? You think I did this on purpose?" And I spent the whole day freezing on greens. And then I just I hate this. I quit. Right? I gave that a try. I don't like being cold. I don't like being out of control. And skiing's both. You gave 2 decades of your life.
I did.
And I think you have to forgive yourself. Because you've known the ending of this ride for a long time. And you kept staying on and staying on and staying on and staying on.
Yeah. I did.
Will you forgive yourself?
Yeah, I'm trying. Yep.
Can I tell you a thing that kind of sucks about forgiveness?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it done intellectually, successfully. Like, you can't sit in a dark room and be like, and remember that old Office episode when Michael Scott declares bankruptcy? He runs out in the middle of the room. He's like, I declare bankruptcy. And they're like, that's not how that works. I've not seen people with this type of long-term hurt be successful in forgiving themselves or somebody else as an intellectual exercise. You have to go do.
Yeah.
And often,
how do you forgive yourself?
Yeah, forgiving yourself is doing the next right thing. Yeah, it's just hard. And let's just like put it all out on the table. For the next 5 to 10 years, unless he is just a man of extraordinary character who's just has a demon that is cocaine, you'll be the bad parent. He'll be the cool, fun parent. You'll be the parent that has the rules and the guidelines, and he'll be the parent that's like, oh my gosh, let's go, right? And he'll have resources, and he'll have the fun, and he'll be the dad that sneaks the beers, and like, it's gonna be in the next 5, 10, 15 years of tough stuff. And what you're doing is you're trying to create a world where your 25-year-old son, your 25-year-old daughter can look back with their hand in yours and say, oh, now I get it. She was fighting for us the whole time. She was fighting for us the whole time. But no more daddy gets weird. You should be able to leave town, leave the country, and they be with their safest person imaginable, their dad. And he's chosen not to be that. I hate that he left you, and I hate that he left y'all.